Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for Michelle's training vlog. For those unfamiliar with what we do, she trains upper lower 6 days a week in preparation for a bikini and physique competition. She will be powerlifting again, by the way. She's going to do at least 1 meet a year once she gets a show or two under her belt. Just going to be more in her off season. So again, we still do some heavy squat, bench, and deadlift in the 6 rep range. Right there at the start of the week, because again, our first 2 workouts, we go heavy, then we go more medium reps and really high reps towards the end of the week. So we do upper, lower 6 days a week, right? So we do 3 uppers, 3 lowers. So we start heavy with the heavier barbell movements and work up. All right, for bench press, she did multiple sets of 6 there with 135, which you guys just saw one of the sets of 6. For weighted chins, 5 reps with a 45-pound plate. Our goal next week is to do 3 sets of 5 on this. She did back off work after. 5 reps with a 45-pound plate as a woman. For those who are not familiar with her stats, because that's come up, they're like, wait, how tall and what does she weigh? She is 5'9", 160 pounds. Just an FYI. So, yeah, she's the same height as me. So, at 160. So, again, she just did over 200 pounds on the full chin up for 5 reps. So put that in perspective. All right. Decline bench. 3 sets of 10 with 135. Again, working that chest. Keeping in mind her volumes are high. The only heavy work we do really is on this day. I say that, but she's like, why do you say that? My lifts are really strong throughout the week. I move 12 rep sets with heavy weight, and she does. She does. But we mean really heavy early in the week, right? It's, again, 45-pound weighted chins. Like we do body weight pull-ups later in the week, for example. All right, so afterwards we do overhead press. So for most of this, we only do on most of these days 1, in some cases 2 exercises per muscle group. You guys will notice things like pecs, okay? For pecs, perfect example. Like we tend to do 2 chest exercises every one of the upper days. We usually only do 1 delt. Some cases we do some rear delts on one of them. We do 1 bicep, 1 tricep, right? But things like chest, we tend to do 2 exercises all the workouts. And it's because we need to bring her chest up, both for physique purposes and for powerlifting. All right, but again, notice the thickness. The gains are extremely noticeable at this point. So notice on the upright rows, which are our delt exercise, she's getting thick, thick, thick. She's getting thick as peanut butter. Okay? She's gotten leaner, but the waistline should be coming down. We've dealt with some water retention. We've dealt with some inflammation and stuff, and some of that, like that's come up with some people who are like, why, she should be lean enough. We should see more ab coming. There's been some inflammation happening. And again, not going to go into medical details. It is medical related. So again, being resolved. So we should be seeing some of that improve actually quite a bit moving forward. In fact, her waist is a little bit smaller. So of course, then we do after that, we do barbell curls, and then we do rope press downs with the cable. Okay. So her exercises on this first upper day are flat barbell bench, decline barbell bench, weighted chins, upright rows, barbell curls, press downs. Now, we do more lat work later in the week. Some of those days we do a couple different lat exercises. So she ends up, with most of these big muscles, 15 to 18. Some stuff gets about 20. So our volume, every muscle gets at least 15 sets. So we're pretty much in the 15 to 20 set range. Keeping in mind, she does at least an hour of cardio every day on top of all this. All right, then of course, she puts her own ab work. I do not program her ab work. I let her get creative with it, and the reasons for it, she has been a pro boxer in the past. She's also a personal trainer herself. For those who are unaware, she does in-person personal training some. So it is part of what she does. Like that's come up too. She is a model, and then she does personal training. So I let her do her own ab work. Right? I let her program it herself. I program the other stuff. It's where I let her put her own creativity as an athlete and as a personal trainer in. So again, she comes up with crazy strong ab stuff. Her abs are ridiculously strong, which we will see as she gets closer and closer to showtime. We'll see that come out more and more. Her ab development is actually really good. So that's come up to people who are like, well, is she going to have good abs? Like, she's going to look at her ab strength. Keeping in mind a big muscle and a strong muscle go hand in hand. Okay? So as she diets down, yeah, she's going to have great abs. All right. But again, notice the difference in the gains compared to before. Because again, I've got old footage going back a year. Like the muscle difference is dramatic, even versus when we were powerlifting. And if you notice some of these lifts and compare her meet lifts, like we're in PR territory now already. Like she's got PRs in the tank. If we were to step up and peak for a meet and do one next month, she would absolutely hit meet PRs across the board. Okay, and she's going to keep getting stronger. So when we get back on the platform, she's going to crush it. All right, same thing here. We left reps in the tank. Back squat, we did 205, ass to grass. So this is not even how she used to do in meets, where we would go just barely to parallel so she passed. All right, we're going pretty deep on all this stuff. All right, trying to maximize quad development, glute development. So we got 3 sets of 6 with this, with 205. Within the next couple of weeks, we plan on repping 225 again. So again, giving us runway. Like these sets, we're leaving a little bit in the tank. All right, these are not all-out limit sets. Like notice how well that bar moves. She could have done a couple more reps. So after that deadlift, all right, 285. 285. 3 sets of 6 reps here. All right. You guys can extrapolate that however you want, but that means she's probably capable of pulling at least 350 for a max. Okay? Notice how easy that was? Just walked over that. This looks like a warm-up. All right? First couple reps look like a warm-up. Now you can tell it's getting a little heavier, but this set is not 100% of everything she had. Again, noting that, right? She's working, but it's not 100%. Right here, watch for it. A little victory yell. Yep, there's her yell. And then that smile, because she knows that she knocked that set out. She gives 100% all the time, by the way. She gives 100% with everything that she does, right? Including the training. It's just who she is, right? It's who she is as a person. All right. Up next, single leg presses, right? Again, this is our heavier day. So these, I'm not as worried about trying to get that super deep range of motion like we do on some of the other stuff. I don't mind a little bit of mid-range here. Okay, I don't mind it. And mainly with the single leg because of the positioning, right, of where it ends up being. Whereas if we do a really wide stance on this, we're going to want them deeper. But obviously her hack squats and other stuff, we go super deep. On these, I want her moving weight. I want her getting a good pump. Not a big deal. I'm not as worried about getting into that super deep position, especially for our heavier days earlier in the week. Because as we get further into the week, we get into a lot of really high rep, deep range of motion, deep stretch stuff as we go. All right, right here, calf raises. We just do standing barbell calf raise. Her calves have almost doubled in size, by the way. I've got old footage that I've actually put up for her and did snapshots side by side earlier this week. She's added a lot of meat to those calves. And it's because we pushed them. We pushed those calves super hard with a lot of progressive overload. Okay, and people forget that. They're like, oh, calves don't come up, they're so genetic. They respond to progressive overload like every other muscle. They can be a little stubborn, and they definitely have a huge genetic component, but they respond to progressive overload. And what have we done? We've added enormous amounts of weight to her work sets, right? I mean, I remember we were doing those calf raises with 1 plate. Now she's cranking out high reps with 3 plates aside. And we've also hit, when she goes really hard, we have done 4 plates. Now I just want her focusing on rep quality, and then we'll work back up towards that. All right, then of course we do glute ham raises. And again, I understand these 2 days look a little bit like power building, almost like power building, which we had her on pure power building at one time. but keeping in mind the totality of our training week. We do care a little bit about strength still for her because she is going to power lift still, right? She's going to do a meet every year coming up. That's the plan. But the vast overwhelming majority of our training is straight bodybuilding. 10 to 15 reps is 90% of her training with high volumes. So again, the end of this session, we finish up with both a standing and a seated calf raise. We do that on all 3 of her lower days. So we end up with 6 sets for calves on all of these days, working 2 different angles every single time. Again, this is how we brought her calves up, and we pushed progressive overload on them really hard, made her get really strong at these calf exercises. And then she finished up with a little bit of extra ab work here. So again, she's challenged me to do these. I'm gonna be reluctant. I might have to wait to do these until later in the week. All right, I might do these this weekend for the camera. All right, guys. But that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.